What is it? To be successful at trading, you have to have an edge or an advantage over other traders. If you keep trading with that edge over a period of time, you'll be profitable. In Vegas, the house always wins. Maybe you've heard that before. Or the house always has an edge or an advantage. Or does the house always have an edge there in Vegas? Well, not when it comes to poker. Poker is called advantage gambling. If a person has enough skill, then they have an advantage. It's like that with trading. If you develop the skills necessary, you can be a successful trader. However, if you're lazy and not willing to do the work like a lot of poker players that fly into Vegas for the weekend to have some fun, then expect to simply support the lifestyle of other traders. To quote the late H.M. Gartley, he said, "It's a sad commentary upon human nature that so many individuals go into the stock market with surplus funds, which have required considerable effort to amass, and assume the risk of stock trading, which is far greater than in ordinary business, with only a fraction of the knowledge which they would employ or expect to employ on the business or profession in which they make their living. This is why stock trading for most people is gambling rather than speculating." So, as Gartley reminds us, we need knowledge. Not just a little bit, but a lot. If we don't have it, we are gambling. So we have to ask ourselves, what kind of knowledge do we really need for trading? And how does that relate to our edge? Really, what edge do you have? Obviously, we should understand something about mathematics, but there's one branch of mathematics that is really going to give you an edge, and that is geometry. On the Geometric Trading website, I've made my opinion clear regarding geometry when I state, geometry has been and always will be the single most powerful tool to forecast the world's financial markets. So what do we mean by geometry? The word geometry comes from the Greek. Geo means earth, metria means measurement. So in its purest form, geometry has more to do with the work of a surveyor versus trading. However, geometry is a branch of mathematics that simply deals with measuring pretty much anything. And as a trader, we're interested in measuring price action on a chart. This is something that's been done over the past 100 years by very few market technicians. The most notable advocate of market geometry was W.D. Gann, one of the most successful traders of all time. However, with the advent of the personal computer, this technique has almost been lost. We discussed this subject in more detail in level 1 of this course. But how does geometry really relate to the financial markets? Well, let's look at this chart. When we look at a price chart, what do we see at first? We see disorder. Highs, lows, opens, closes, thousands of data points that seem very random. This disorder is not your preference. Why? Because you and I are human beings and we're designed with a preference for order versus disorder. When we see disorder, there's a built-in desire to change things, to create some sort of structure or order. And when we look at a price chart, our instinct is to organize the seemingly chaotic price data into some sort of order out of the apparent chaos. Now, how do we usually do that? Well, look at this set of data points. Does it look like they form any sort of shape or pattern? Do you see any sort of line that would appear if we lined up some of those data points? On the subconscious level, right now, your brain is automatically looking for data points that line up, whether you like it or not. Your brain is trying to create some sort of order out of this apparent chaos. These shapes that you're looking for, it could be lines, it could be shapes that you're looking for. These shapes could be the basic shapes of circles, squares, or triangles. It really doesn't look like these data points are connected, but if we add a shape to the chart, now it's a little bit different, isn't it? Now it looks like some of these data points have a relationship to each other. Even if we take the square off the chart, we can still tell which data points have a relationship to each other and which don't. Now let's look at the 1929 crash and see if you can make some sort of order out of this chaos. Looking at this chart, you may conclude that there might not be any relationship between the higher lows leading up to the 29 crash. Can you see anything? Does this make it easier? The market followed the arc of a circle until the Dow reached the extreme right side of the circle. And if we take the circle off again, you can still see it. Now this is just a circle. How about other simple shapes like triangles? Traders have been using triangles for a long time. H.M. Gartley devoted an entire chapter, chapter 9, in his book Profits in the Stock Market to the subject of triangles. Can you see a triangle here? Does this help? These patterns appear all the time. However, due to the effort involved with visually looking for them and drawing lines on the chart, a lot of traders don't bother with this. It takes too much effort. And that's good news, because this is the edge that will help you. This is the edge that you need to use, geometry. Using this time-tested technique that most people are too lazy to use. This is one of the reasons that market geometry will always work. Compared to the ease of applying an automatic indicator to the bottom of a price chart, geometry is worth the extra effort. For example, I put a vertical line on this chart to identify where the price data ends. The vertical line is the present. Left of the line is the past, and right of the line is the future. As traders, we're only really interested in what happens on the right side of this line. I call the space on the right side of the line the white space. It's like a blank canvas, the canvas of an artist. This is where we're going to paint a picture of what we think the future might look like. Now notice at the bottom of the chart how the stochastic oscillator ends abruptly at the vertical line. All these different automatic oscillators and indicators that you can put at the chart do the same thing. They will just give you an average of the past. I like to say using averages to forecast will give you average forecasts. Notice the bearish trend line displayed at the top of the chart. Notice how the trend line extends past the vertical line into the future. We're now painting into the white space, the canvas of the technician. This geometric trend line gives you an idea of what is going to happen in the future. So to summarize the differences between the oscillator indicator approach to trading, the right side of the line is history. Lagging, it's not leading. It is, yes, scientific, it's science because it's a known fact what these data points are. And it also uses the left side of the brain, the scientific aspect of trading. The right side of the vertical line, remember this is what we really need to focus on. If you want to get good at trading, we have to focus on the white space, the canvas of the technician. The right side of the vertical line is the future. It gives us leading indicators that display on the right side. It's the art of trading. We want to start focusing on the art of trading. There's a science to trading, but there's also the art of trading. And also, we need to start using more of the right side of our brain in addition to the left side of the brain. We want to use both sides. Now that we've covered the importance of having an edge in trading with the use of market geometry, let's look at the only two geometric tools that you'll ever need to be a successful trader.